The front door was wide open. The door beneath the mirror. I haven't opened the bathroom door in 3 days. I use the sink in the kitchen. I take sponge baths like I'm camping in some awful haunted version of my own life. But I won't go near that door again. Not after what I heard behind the mirror. Because it wasn't just a creak, it was knuckles. Scraping against the glass, slow, methodical. Like someone trying to find the thinnest point in a wall. And then a voice. Quiet. Backwards. Like a record being spun in reverse. I recorded it, I played it forward, reversed it again, cleaned up the noise. It said, I remember the dark, I remember the wet, you open the first door, now open the next. The message board. I started searching online for similar stories. Anything about doors opening on their own, dreams involving keys, mirrors with voices behind them. Eventually, I found a thread on an old message board. Nothing official, just one of those ancient, cobwebbed corners of the internet. Mostly dead, but this thread had replies, recent ones. The thread was titled, Anyone else dreaming about the hall? One reply stood out, dated just a few days ago. It said, Don't follow the door with the water behind it. That's the one he waits behind. If your key is wet, it's too late. Close it before 3:13. If it opens wider than a breath, he can step through. There was no username, just an IP address, scrambled through layers of proxies, but I recognized something in the post, a phrase. The hall. I'd heard it before, in my dream. The hall, I've started dreaming of it again. Long corridor, endless doors, some tall and thin, some squat and circular like submarine hatches, all of them just slightly ajar, all of them breathing. Sometimes I walk down the corridor listening, other times I wake up mid-sentence. Like I was talking to someone on the other side. Last night I woke up with my hand outstretched, like I'd just handed something over, and my palm was wet. The tenant before me. Desperate, I started digging into the apartment's history. It took some effort, lots of dead ends, weird paperwork, but I eventually tracked down the name of the last tenant. A man named Eli Morris. I found an old incident report buried in the police database, filed October 12th last year. It said, tenant reported missing. Front door was found wide open at 3:14 a.m. No signs of forced entry, no sign of struggle. Interior of apartment completely dry except for one puddle of standing water inside the bedroom closet. Origin of water unknown. No plumbing overhead, no leaks. Police report mentions faint sound of dripping inside walls, which ceased when closet door was shut. I almost laughed, until I realized something. The date he vanished? Exactly 1 year ago tonight. 3:12 a.m., 1 year later. The mirror in the bathroom cracked this morning, from the inside. No impact, no sign of pressure, just a perfect radiating web, like someone pressed their face up against the glass and whispered too hard. The closet door creaks more often now, like it's waking up, like it's listening. Last night I taped a note to it. I don't know why, just instinct. It said, I didn't open it, I swear. When I checked it this morning, the note was gone. In its place, written on the inside of the door in something dark and oily, you did. The ritual. I went back to the message board. Someone new had posted a ritual. No context, no explanation, just this. The key rite, to seal a door that never closed. At 3:11 a.m., stand in front of the open door. Hold a key in your mouth until it tastes like salt. Speak backwards the name of the door. Cut your palm. Drip the blood on the frame. Close it before 3:13 a.m. exactly. If it whispers, too late, do not open your eyes. If it knocks 3 times, do not answer the next doorbell you hear. If it offers you another key, you already said yes. I don't know what half of it means, but I'm going to try it because tonight is October 12th, 1 year since the last tenant vanished, and I think it's my turn now. The front door was wide open. Part 5. The name of the door. The key tasted like metal and salt. I stood in front of the closet with the key balanced under my tongue, holding it there like it was a communion wafer, like it meant something. My phone read 3:11 a.m. just as the instructions said. The room was silent, no traffic, no hum of pipes. Even the fridge had stopped buzzing. The kind of silence that feels pressed against your skin. The kind that feels watched. I closed my eyes, began to speak. The hardest part was the name. Front door, reversed. I don't know how I knew that was its name, but the moment I said it, The air changed. The silence broke, not with a sound, but a shift, like the room inhaled and something in the closet exhaled back. The mistake. I nicked my palm with a pocket knife, let the blood drip onto the frame. The closet door didn't move, but it felt closer, like the space between me and it had shortened, warped. I reached out and gripped the handle, and just as I began to close it, it whispered, "Too late." My eyes flew open. Mistake. Instantly, everything tilted. The hallway stretched, the walls rippled like paper, the air turned to wet wool, and behind the coats, something began to crawl out. Not walk. Backwards, like it didn't understand how arms should bend, or maybe it just didn't care. Its head dragged behind it. Its face wasn't a face at all, just a keyhole. One long, dark keyhole that blinked. It saw me, and it remembered. The door beneath the floor. I ran, didn't look back, slammed the front door, locked it, chained it, bolted every window, turned on every light. It wasn't enough, because when I stepped into the kitchen, the floor felt soft, like something underneath it had shifted. The tile wasn't cold anymore, it was warm. Breathing. I dropped to my knees and pried up one of the floor tiles. And there it was. A handle. A brass handle embedded in the wood beneath. A door in the floor. And next to it, a small folded scrap of paper. Written in handwriting I recognized as my own. This time, "Don't forget the way back." The hall revisited. I don't remember opening the floor door, I just remember falling, then walking, then the hall. Exactly like the dreams, endless, cold, damp, lined with doors, each just slightly ajar, each with a label carved in strange, spiraling text. I recognized none of the languages, but I understood them. One said, "The room where they teach you to forget." Another, "The door that pretends to be a wall." And one, half open, still dripping wet, read, "Eli Morris." I stopped in front of that one, the smell of mildew and hair. Then I heard it, the voice, behind me. Backwards arms, clicking fingers, dragging a key across the wall. Not fast, not angry, just certain. Like it had waited through centuries and finally found someone stupid enough to open the wrong door. The archive. I ran, tore through the hall, slamming doors behind me, but nothing stayed shut. They'd open again with a wet, slow creak, and all the while, I began to hear whispers, not just in my ears, but in my bones. They weren't voices, they were instructions. I can't explain it, but I knew where I was going. Knew which corridor turned into which stairwell bled into which basement, and which basement contained the archive. A room of rusted file cabinets and mold-eaten drawers. Thousands of them, each drawer labeled with a single name. Mine was already open. There was no paper, no photos, just one item. A doorknob. Still attached to a square of cracked wood, and on the edge of that wood the word "again." Carved by hand. Carved deep. When I touched it, everything shifted. Not time, not space. Memory. And suddenly I remembered the first time I had come here. I remembered standing in front of the man with backward arms. I remembered what he said. "You opened the first door when you were 4 years old, in the basement, in the dark. You turned the key and forgot. That's what it cost. Forgetting. Now the debt has come due. The invitation. And now?" I woke up in my apartment, back on the floor, palms scraped, closet door gone. Where it was now, just a wall. Smooth drywall, freshly painted, like it had never been there. But I can still hear it, behind the wall, dragging its fingers in slow circles. And tonight, the floor is warm again, under the fridge. Another door is waking up, and I know what I'll find if I open it. Not an exit, not a passage, but a mouth, and it already knows my name. Door was wide open. Part 6. The room that remembers you. There's a room in my apartment that shouldn't exist. I noticed it yesterday while cleaning, which I haven't done in a while. But as I was moving the fridge to wipe the wall behind it, I saw something strange. A gap. No tiles. Just an edge. A seam, barely visible unless you knew where to look. I pushed harder, and the fridge moved like it was on rails. It slid away from the wall, revealing a door behind it. A door with no handle, just a keyhole. It looked exactly like the one in the face of that thing in the hall. And suddenly, I remembered something that made my stomach flip. The message board post. "If it knocks 3 times, do not answer the next doorbell you hear." Last night, someone rang my bell at 3:14 a.m., and I answered. The doorknob in the drawer. That broken doorknob I found in the archive, it's been following me. I left it on the kitchen counter. Next morning, it was in the bedroom, then the sink, then the couch, always sitting in the same cracked square of wood, always tilted at the same angle, like it's pointing somewhere. Yesterday, I threw it out, tossed it in a dumpster 5 blocks away. It came back. This time, it was inside the fridge. And the milk was gone. In its place, just a folded note. Feed it or starve. I don't know what that means. But I haven't slept since. Room behind the I waited until midnight. Then I sat in front of the handleless door. I didn't touch it, didn't even blink, just stared at the keyhole. At 3:13 a.m. exactly, it clicked. Then it opened. Not with a swing, not with a creak. It peeled itself open like skin parting around a wound, and inside, nothing, just a room. Empty, silent, white. No furniture, no windows, just smooth walls and a floor that pulsed like a throat. I stepped inside, and the door sealed shut behind me. The man in the corner, he was already there, not standing, not sitting, just slouching in the far corner, like a puppet someone forgot to animate. His face was half missing, not bloody, just gone, blurred, like someone censored it in real life. I recognized the shirt, though. It was mine, the one I lost during the move. He raised a hand, pointed at the wall, then spoke, except he didn't have a mouth. His words came from behind my eyes. You've been here before. You left yourself behind. That's what they feed on, the parts you don't remember. And then the walls began to ripple. Names. Names started surfacing in the paint. Not written, etched like scars. I saw mine. I saw Eli Morris. I saw dozens more. One name kept reappearing, the room that remembers you. You can't leave alone. I tried to leave, pounded on the door, kicked the wall, that screamed my own name until my throat burned. Nothing. Until I whispered, I want to forget again. That did it. The door cracked open just enough for light to bleed in, and on the other side, me. Standing in my kitchen, drinking coffee, smiling, but something was off. His eyes blinked too slowly. His hands were too clean. He didn't have the scar on my palm, the one from the ritual. I realized what the room wanted. A trade. Leave something behind, a memory, a version of yourself. So I stepped through, and I left him in there, at least I think, back in the apartment. Everything's normal now. The fridge is back where it was, the walls are solid, the lights work, no strange noises. But sometimes I find 2 of the same item, 2 toothbrushes, 2 wallets, 2 sets of shoes by the door. And in the mirror, if I stare too long, my reflection starts smiling before I do. There's a knock at the front door. 3 times, exactly 3:13 a.m. I didn't answer, but whoever's out there just slid something under the door. A single photograph. Black and white. It's a picture of me as a child, standing in front of a door I've never seen before, a door that looks like it's about to open. And in the bottom corner, someone wrote, "You were the first to walk through. You'll be the last to walk out."